if you are not aware, Hunter and Burglar class in Lord of the Rings Online are getting class reworks. This pretty much means that they are going through the class trait trees, revamping them a little bit, and overall just having a better damage boost for them and make them just generally updated in comparison to some of the other classes in LOTRO. What I mean by that is obviously in any MMO, there are some classes that are just genuinely going to be better in some ways in terms of like learning curves and stuff like that. But in actuality in LOTRO, it seems like some of these classes, for example, like Hunter and Burglar, are kind of slacking on the DPS or damage base right now. Like for example, right now Hunters have like really crappy common damage in general when you compare it to several other classes in LOTRO. So overall, I was really looking forward to seeing a damage boost for Burglars and Hunters as well. And I just kind of wanted to give you my personal opinion on what I've seen so far from the rework, because the reworks are available right now on Bullroarer, the live test public server for anybody who can join in on that for LOTRO. But the actual like reworks going out live on the live servers is yet to be announced as I'm making this video anyway. But if you are not sure what the Bullroarer server is, it's pretty much just like a test server, like I mentioned, where the LOTRO devs will push any sort of particular things that they just want a general like public to test out for them and then give them feedback. So whatever I say could possibly be changed, and the devs might just change some stuff overall before launching it. But for the most part, it's pretty minuscule and it's nothing too crazy. So let's start off with Hunter, because I feel like a lot of people are very stressed about Hunter. Hunters are the most played class in LOTRO. It's a super easy class to learn. It's a great class in terms of, you know, being a hunter, a ranger, a Legolas. Everybody loves Legolas, right? Anyway, with the class trait trees, Blue Line is always a highly talked about class trait tree. And I actually covered this in my Hunter rework video if you'd like to catch that, but they actually kind of went over and mentioned a few things that people were already upset about. One thing in particular people were really ticked off about, and I didn't catch it, but now I have, is that Blue Line Hunters, as of right now, currently in the game, so before this rework goes live, they actually have the ability to go up to a 35% run speed boost. So as Hunters, if you are out of combat, I should specify that, they do have a 35% out of combat run speed boost that people really love. I didn't realize how much people really paid attention to this thing, but I'm gonna be honest, I've been maining a warden now and they get a 38% out of combat run speed boost, and it's like night and day. When you don't play a character with those speed boosts, it's just not fun. You take way longer to get places. It sucks. Blue Line, they actually were gonna get rid of that boost for Blue Line from what I read anyway, and it looked like they were getting rid of the 35% extra because every hunter should have like a basic percentage. I believe it was 15%, but now they've increased it for the entirety of all hunters that it goes up to 25% for your out of combat run speed boost. But in actuality, in the rework, I was pleasantly kind of surprised to see that in my, time frame of playing this on the Bullroarer server, they do have a 35% run speed boost, but this is mostly for like when you're fling battles and stuff. So it was kind of a compromise I saw, but like it's not the entirety of out of combat. So more or less, TLDR, run speed boost for hunters just in general now is 25% across the board. What used to be the case was Blue Line used to have the ability to buff it to even 35% out of combat run speed boost, but they actually got rid of that entirely. So I will tell you though that with the new changes that are possibly coming out, there will still be a 35% run speed boost, but this is mostly for like fleeing combat, and it's mostly like an in-combat run speed boost where you just like run away. So not exactly what people wanted, but I mean, if you're in a hard like fight, you should leave, right? I mean, I'll take it. Anyway, the concept with Blue Line is just to overall have a more melee base going forward in this current rework. So really what the devs want is they want to decrease the range, which they did, and I could tell, and they wanted to increase the damage of melee. So they kind of wanted like hunters to be more flexible in Blue Line, which I would say that they pretty much set out to do what they just said. So I will tell you that Blue Line, I love Blue Line Hunter, but I don't know how I feel about it right now. Now with these changes, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. I can definitely tell they buffed the melee crazily on the blue line. It's insane now. Like, it's genuinely like, I kind of feel like it's borderline giving champion with bow skills, and that's kind of how I explained it in the last video. But like, it's a lot. Like, I felt like I was genuinely getting more crit or devastating hits off on my melee and just doing way more damage in comparison to my bow skills, which with a blue line hunter, they're very well known for being mobile. They still keep that, so don't even worry about that. The mobility is still there, but you do lose range because now they've shortened the range by, I believe now it's only up to 5 meters and redline is 10 meters. And then now you have increased melee, which is actually a pretty good buff. You lose some range for you, but you get an increase in damage on melee, which I think overall people just wanted a damage increase in general for hunters, which they did do a wee bit. Now, I will say that with blue line, something else that I found very interesting is that since it's very much a melee based class, I guess it's not, but because they're going more melee with it, I kind of figured they were going to add 1 or 2 more melee skills. They only added 1 new melee skill, and it's based off of your parry rating. So like, it's kind of not really like a new melee skill. It's kind of just like, oh, hey, by the way, like, we've got this. So I found that kind of odd because I figured they were going to add 1 or 2 new melee skills, and I was a little disappointed by that. I really was, because I figured that if you're going to decrease our range, you can still use your bow and arrows, right? But overall, like, if you want to increase your melee damage for hunters to be more flexible in that way, I would think you would add like more than just 2 to 3 melee skills, in my opinion. But overall, I would say that it did do a lot more damage for the bow and the melee skills. But I think overall with blue line, like, it feels so different, but it's going to take time to get used to. I don't think it was a bad class like rework at all. I just think that there's a lot of things with blue line mobility wise. Like, I mean, it's still there, but it's like the damage kind of makes it more like it really just wants to be a champion, in my opinion, with like cooler bow range, which, I mean, I guess it works. I don't know. In terms of redline, I was super stoked for redline. They have 10 meter range. They were going to have a general DPS advantage. And the thing with redline is you are not mobile. Most of the time you have to wait for inductions and stuff like that. My God, I tried redline. They suck. I don't know what happened. I hated redline. I normally would go between blue and red in general, but this rework, I felt like my damage was really not substantial. I felt like it was just like pretty much playing the same exact class, but you lost a lot of like skills, because a lot of the skills you get with Hunter were like traps and stuff, and this is just general, but they put all of that in yellow line now. So redline really lost a lot of skills, and then they're like, okay, well, we'll buff up the damage, but it didn't really even feel that much buff. Like, maybe like 20% more. I was really disappointed. I thought redline was going to be super, super like OP. I don't know, maybe I just slotted in some stuff wrong in my traits, but I'm legit just like, what happened? Like, redline just, I don't know, I almost feel like they did nothing to it and then said, here you go, and that's all we got with less skills. So that's overall just what I wrote. Like, I literally wrote on my things, I put weaker, less skills. Let me know if you tried redline down in the comments though. And then yellow line, I was so impressed by, and I really want you guys to really put this into like perspective, because I feel like they did a lot of work with yellow line. With yellow line, you have all of the traps. They added like 2 or 3 different like trap based skills, which was crazy. But I find it very interesting that LOTRO decided to put in a lot of their resources and effort into yellow line. Like, yellow line had way more skills now, obviously, because they took from like red or blue even. Even with yellow line, something that I found super interesting was focus, and something that they mentioned a lot during the Hunter rework was that they are going to change the way that focus works. So like, they wanted it to be more vital, and they did accomplish that. However, with yellow line, you get like endless focus, okay? Literally, I would like be out of focus. It would almost be weird. Like, you don't build focus as much in yellow line. You pretty much drain it, and then you hit the focus button, and then you go back in. It's almost like this weird extra step you gotta take to regain focus now, which I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. it just feels like an extra button you're pushing for no reason. But like so many of your skills are focus based, you need like so much focus. It's kind of insane. The other lines didn't really seem to have too much of a focus difference. Like I did notice that I think it was with red line, like I had to wait to use my focus ability to like restore, but like blue line I couldn't use it in combat. Yellow line you can use it in combat. You can literally keep hitting that focus button like it's like candy, and it's like on a 2-second cooldown for what I had, and I was just like, what in the fudge? But I found it very interesting that yellow line was such a main focus, because I know a lot of people use yellow hunters for raids, but it really seems like SSG is just really turning their attention more towards like helping groups and raids, which is fine. But I think what they're really going to hurt right now with hunters especially is because hunters are such an easy class to learn, and it's one of the like bigger classes. It's the biggest class used right now. But I don't think that they're realizing is they kind of really hurt redline a lot by taking away the traps and stuff and not adding more to it. That people who are generally just getting new to the game are probably going to go red or blue, maybe yellow. But yellow's more like crowd control, like traps and stuff. Sounds more advanced, right? So you're probably going to be a little bit more like, I don't know about that line. But if you're going to go red, you're like, yes, damage, 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 damage. But it's not giving much. It's pretty basic now. It's like, there's not even like a challenge. There's not even like a feeling of like, yeah, I'm kicking butt with my DPS. Like, it's just kind of like, okay, like... I hate to say it, but it's kind of like Bjornings, how they're so like OP right on their damage that you get bored of them. It's like the opposite, where hunters are now becoming like the burglars. Redline hunters are, where it's like, okay, well, I'm taking forever to like take out some things, but you know, like, I guess I'll get used to it. You know, maybe I'll just power level these. Like, it's not as exciting now. And the fact that we really don't have many like skills for redline now is kind of weird to me. And the blue line is so highly talked about because of the mobility, and I don't know how people are going to feel about the loss of range. It didn't seem to be too big of an issue from the forums, but I am pretty conflicted on that. Like, something about blue line just isn't the same now. And I'm probably just so used to playing them, but I do feel like there's just almost like this loss of almost being like a more ranged character. It just feels more melee based now, which I'm all right with, but it's just going to take a lot to get used to. But I think overall with just hunters, there was a huge focus in on yellow line. I honestly want to go yellow line and soloing now. Like, I can't believe how great yellow line got buffed. And red, I feel so bad for. And blue is like the precious one where you don't want to do too much, but it's still like, it still kind of hurts, you know? Like, you can still feel like it's not the same, but it could work. It's just weird because it's all melee. All right, and now I'm just going to try to like hurry up and go faster with Burglar. Burglar overall, I would say, pretty much hit the nail on the coffin of doing more damage in general for all of the class straight trees. I will say that with Redline Burglar, which is the damage-based Burglar, oh my god, the damage increase is like fan-frickin-tastic. They like buffed it just a wee bit, but it did just enough to feel way more effective, but also like not OP. So it's kind of at a good balance, in my opinion, on the damage stake, especially that one of your basic attacks with Burglar doesn't take as long to rejuvenate. The subtle strike, I think is what it's called. That has like a 2-second cooldown now, which the DPS on it is like 7 damage, is horrible. But the fact that you don't have to wait as long for it, oh my god, it's like amazing. I love that they did that. They did add like way more damage. I believe that they added way more skills in Tech 2. And it just overall was just, you felt buffer, but it didn't really like take too much of like the class concept away from it. So I genuinely like Redline now a lot more. Like, I would say it was a good rework. Maybe not like the greatest, like, oh my god, they're so OP like Lore Masters, right? It's not like that, but it's like, it was a good balance. Like, I think this is probably the first rework I saw where I was like, this is actually what you set out to do, and you did it right. Like, you did it great. I was impressed. I don't know what happened to Blue Line. I loved Blue Line Burglar, but this is not it. Like, they still have some of the gambling system intact and all of that, which is cool. It's a little advanced, I will say. But what happened to my animations? Where'd they go? What happened? Genuinely, where is my little whoosh whoosh strike? Like, it's there, but like, I feel like we lost so many cool animations with skills and stuff, which they didn't change out a lot of the skills really. They just like changed a few things about him, buffed him up a little bit. I don't know what happened. Like, Blue Line just is so, like, it just seems not fun. I don't know what happened. Like, even on the damage scale, it feels pretty much the same. Like, I don't really notice anything crazy about it. I was just like, this is pretty much what we had already, just with less cool animations. And the gamble system's, like, still a thing, but, like, it's weird. It's just weird. All right, and then Yellow Line, wow. So I remember that I was told that Yellow Line Burglar was being slept on, which I think is kind of accurate. Yellow Line already is kind of a class I don't, like, see people use, or at least a class trait tree I don't really see people use often. But with Yellow Line now, my god, they've got skills up the wazoo. My god, they have great DOT. They have a lot of stuns. They have, like, my god, they have debuffs galore. You really should probably try a Yellow Burglar. You will take a while to get through things still. It still feels like the same old burglar you know and love. But my golly, I feel like for fellowship's sake, I feel like they could definitely get away with being more utilized going forward. Maybe not to the extent of what hunters are going to be now, because I feel like hunters are going to be like the OP, maybe like CC like class, just because they have so many traps now and it's just insane. I definitely think Yellow Line is like really good for burglars with the update anyway. In terms of how many abilities you have with the debuffs that they added to them and the buffs that they have for you, like, it's just genuinely a way more fun experience. I feel like a lot of what made Blue Line fun was the way, like, skills could be worked together and utilized, and I think it kind of lost some of that a little bit, and I think Yellow Line kind of holds that true, so it almost like switched some of the Blue Line over to Yellow on, like, the fun aspect of it. And that's just what happened. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. That is all I had to say today about my opinion on the reworks. What do you guys think about the reworks? Let me know in the comments. I want to know your opinion on Hunter and Burglar. And I don't have a specific date for you on when these reworks are going to go out. Wish I did. But I just haven't heard or seen anything on the forums. But I will let you guys know ASAP when they do, because I think everybody who plays a hunter, which is like most of the LOTRO community, it feels anyway, y'all should definitely get a heads up, because it will be a little trippy, at least at first anyway. And same with you burglars out there. There's, you know, there's only a small few of us still playing burglars out here, but we still out here strong, okay? Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And until next time, you better stay weird, you weird weirdos.